Good morning. Good morning. So it didn't give us a countdown like it normally does. Usually it'll be like, you're going live in 3. This time it was, you're going live. You're live now. So, good morning. I keep having to remember my camera is over here. We're on the iPad still. I have a trip to Best Buy tomorrow to go to Lexington to see if I can figure out what's going on with it and replace the graphics card if that's the problem. I have a suspicion that that's probably what it is. So we'll see. And depending on the cost of the iPad or cost of the graphics tablet, it'll either be fixed this graphics card. It'll either be fixed this weekend or probably next. I don't know. So we'll see. Kind of up in the air with that. This was definitely not something that was planned, and I'm having withdrawals from work and from gaming, and was just about to launch a children's book for somebody, and now I have to pull the hard drive and try and get the files off of it, and yeah, so yeah, fine. But in the meantime, it's been things have been going really good. I've actually, now that I'm off the desktop, have actually been fairly productive, which is good. And so it's not all bad, but having withdrawals. So I'm looking forward to having my camera equipment back and my audio equipment back, and I'm grateful for the iPad, but I know the audio quality is not the best, and unfortunately nothing I have will plug into the iPad to be able to utilize it. So got some creative books this morning from my inspiration thing. We're doing Post Alley. We've actually gotten to the point where we like it without milk. That was out of necessity because we ran out of milk at one point, but raw sugar and Seattle's Best Post Alley works great black. So I've been very happy about that. So I have a Nick Bantock book, Urgent Second Class, Creating Curious Collage, Dubious Documents, and Other Art from Ephemera. And Dubious Documents is actually the name of one of his puzzle books that I also have. But Nick is the one that did Egyptian Jukebox, which we've talked about, and Griffin and Sabine, which we've talked about, but I've never actually brought on camera, so we might do that next week. I will make a note of it, but everything, including the postage stamps, is him, and he's prolific and amazing and just all about rubber stamps and different things that he's created, postcards, commercial ephemera as he says, and books and magazines, and he does, just beautiful work. So when I get stuck and I need some inspiration, this is one of the books that I rummage through. And like I said, he was part of my early inspiration for Odinasha, which will be coming out next year with any luck. And this is just a really great inspiration book. And it says, you are invited to take an art class with the master of aesthetic curiosity, Nick Bantock. Urgent Second Class is an inspirational handbook for making art by embellishing and tampering with old documents, maps, postcards, scraps, envelopes, and other ephemera. Written in Bantock's ebullient, intimate prose and featuring numerous visual samples, Urgent Second Class shows how to alchemically transform the unexpected into your own idiosyncratic art. So those are my big words for today. That's the extent. That's it. I used them all up in that. We're done with that. The other one, oddly enough, is writing. This is Sid Field's Screenplay Book, and he's also written Screenwriter's Problem Solver and Screenwriter's Workbook. This was originally one of my textbooks for when I was doing my master's degree. My master's degree is in screenwriting. I don't know why I keep looking at the plug. The camera's over here. I am not awake today. Y'all better appreciate this because I was in bed. And I apparently need to go back there. I also need to have this up because I forgot I can't see chat.
No chat.
So people might be talking to me and I'm ignoring them and I don't mean to. It's day. And and today is the day that we're actually supposed to be doing wholesale accounts, hopefully. So yeah, that's gonna go good. Okay, so I have it up just in case somebody decides to wander in. I know I texted Drac so that Drac could be here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to quickly turn my display so it doesn't go off. Sorry. La la la. Keep screen turned on. I had to do this for live stream last night. I have been live streaming. I've been doing it from the iPad. So that's been interesting. But, okay. So over here. I had to look at my hubby. So I remember. But this is Sid. Unfortunately, we lost a couple of years ago, and
Really?
And just amazing book. This and Writing Down the Bones are the two books that make me just want to quit everything and write full time. But a lot of the stuff that I learned in screenwriting, and I've got it. Go ahead and cringe. I've got it highlighted. It was a textbook. And I've got notes in here and all sorts of stuff. But I highlighted the crud out of this book. I can make notes in the margins and everything. This book is not leaving my library. I love this book. A lot of the stuff I learned in screenwriting, though, actually helped with my fiction, writing novel-length fiction. So if you are a writer and you want to kind of boost your writing habit, learn screenwriting. Learn the tips and the tricks. Screenwriting University, ScreenwritingU, does free webinars. Hal Croasum runs those, and a link to it. ScreenwritingU webinars are awesome, and they've referred to Sid's work before. But
I give
fabulous,
my students that
fabulous
tip
book
all the time of
yeah.
highlighting each of your characters' dialogue in one highlighter color.
Yeah.
And then going in and reading them so you can hear their voice.
Yeah.
I give them that tip all the time.
Yeah. That was probably one of the best tips that I got from that. And I think that was Hal. I don't remember if that was Hal or it might have been Sid. But basically, once you have your script and you're in revisions or you're in your draft, go through and highlight each of your characters, your main characters, in a different color, and then read their dialogue, and then read through one person at a time and see if their voice is consistent. So I picked up a lot of things with some of my characters. I had one character who was Polish, and they didn't use contractions. And so I was going through and highlighting everything and reading over the dialogue, and I caught several places where he started sounding like my other character. And so sometimes if you've been writing something for a really long time and you're just fleshing out your characters, then it's easy to kind of blur. So doing that really helped me to kind of pull that out and go in and make corrections. but and that goes in with character development and that. So if you know your characters, you can kind of LARP it, step into their shoes, do your dialogue, and then being able to read back that afterwards separately is a big help. And I'm pretty sure that was a Hal Croasum thing from ScreenwritingU. But I know Sid has gone over stuff like that before too. But so Sid Field, anything by Sid Field is amazing. We also did the Save the Cat series too, which I honestly haven't read. I've skimmed the first book. I have both the first and the second book, and I haven't really utilized them as much. I was stuck on Sid's stuff. So your turn. Swap out the coffee.
I have a very big read for you. This is actually 4 books. It's separated into two books per novel. You can get it anthology style this way. This is actually 2 books, so each is about half of that. This is Shadow and Claw. Not Shadow and Claw. This is Shadow of the Torturer, Claw of the Conciliator. This is the first 2 books in the Gene Wolfe cycle of 4 books called The Book of the New Sun. And I've been doing a lot of digging on this story lately. There are podcasts devoted to this. There are people who've written entire novels about this book and what it means, things like that. There's a little bit of archaic language in that book. There are some things in it, like, I came across the word aver last night, and I was like, I know what that means, but how many other people do? So
that's why I don't read fantasy, because I'd be looking up
It's not, see, but that's the thing, that's what's funny, is it's not classified as fantasy. It looks fantasy, and yes, you're dealing with a literal torturer character.
Oh my gosh.
But
Don Mates did the cover art. I know Don Mates. I know Don's work.
Well, here you go. So
okay, that's cool.
But it's the little things, right? But I've started reading this book, and I've been digging around to learn more about it, and everybody tells me read it and then read it again. Everybody tells me people get more out of this book when they read it 2, 3, 4 times. They have these little epiphanies or revelations of sections they've read 2 or 3 times before, and they go, wow, I never saw it that way before, and they just like unlock
so it's these 2 books,
things that they weren't thinking before in this story, and or they see something from a different point of view in this story after they read it more than once, things like this. But it's what we like to call unreliable narrator, although Gene Wolfe has said you should trust the narrator 100%. Which is odd because it's technically classified as speculative fiction, or speculative, of course, science fiction. It reads very fantasy for a lot of the story. It feels very, there's this, what feels like a very ancient environment, like a very medieval style environment, but there are, spaceships and lasers and things like this, things that you would expect to find in something like Dune, or something. And so you're reading through this story, and then suddenly it's like, where did these things come from? How long have these been here? So and so I've started digging through this. I've started reading it. There is an entire podcast devoted to this. I need to look it up so that I can link it to this at the end today. I will dig it up today. I actually know where I can find it for you. And they have just numerous episodes on 2-chapter breakdowns of this entire set of 4 books.
Nice.
So you can go through, and if you want to just
Shadow
audio
and Claw. It's the first 2.
Listen to audio commentary about each 2-chapter sections at a time, you can.
Those 2 books.
I also found all 4 books on audiobook on YouTube, believe it or not, yesterday also. So, and the second one here, or rather the third and the fourth one, is Sword and Citadel. It's Sword of the Lictor and Citadel of the Autarch. So
those 2.
So that is the third and fourth novel in that series. There's a book that is classified as a prequel that I'm not referencing today. I can save that for another day, but that is something that is kind of backstory to these.
Also by
4
Don
stories.
Mates.
Yes.
And cover artist.
Yes.
It says the best sci-fi novel of the last century, says Neil Gaiman.
Mm-hmm.
The Book of the New Sun.
Ursula K. Le Guin was interviewed
and
and was asked about Gene Wolfe and what she knows of him and, you know, how she came to meet him and everything. And she said, he's our Melville.
Oh, wow.
That's what she said about Gene Wolfe. And by our Melville, I'm assuming she means science fiction's Melville, but it's interesting. Sadly, we lost him in 2019 as well, but
cool stuff. I'm slowly slogging through the Expanse, the first of the Expanse books.
Yeah.
Still.
Leviathan's Wake. Yeah.
Yeah. Still. It is a tome. And if you've seen, I almost wish I had read them before I saw the show, because now I have this narrative, and it does help me connect with the characters. Like, I know what this person's voice sounds like, but I'm kind of transferring their personality, the actor's portrayal over, and I don't know that necessarily meshes. But there's 14 books, and they're, like, comparatively, this is regular trade paperback, they're about this big. Like, from this corner down here to here, they're huge, and they're about that thick.
All of them are over 600 pages, 500 pages.
So I'm like, I bought the first one, and I'm like, what have I gotten myself into?
And they're all that way.
Yeah, and they're sci-fi, and they're very detailed in a lot of the technical stuff that, like, Bobby's doing. Like, Bobby's one of the first characters. I think it's Bobby. That there's one of the Mars military.
The Marine. Yes.
Yeah, the Marine. And just a lot of the technical ship stuff that they're doing. And honestly, I have not gotten the chance to sit down and look at it very much. I like what I'm reading so far, but like I said, it's not an easy read for me. I like a lot of nonfiction. I like a lot of the creative books. Trying to think if I've got anything else out here that I've been reading. Not really. But I like a lot of the, you know, if I'm doing a lot of work, you know, on the computer or on the iPad, or, you know, looking at something else, I like it to be an easy read, just because I stream and I want to read, but I don't want to sit for hours and read through something. I want something it's kind of like why I game, is I want to get in and no-brainer. And, you know, doing puzzles and stuff, to me, is no-brainer, really, actually.
Logic puzzles.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like when she sits there and does logic puzzles on paper, and I'm like, nope.
He's not the puzzle guy.
I do
and I love
crosswords.
puzzles.
You know, I'll do a crossword. I'll crush a crossword out of, like, the New York Times, but no.
Yeah.
Logic puzzles.
Nope. Yeah, him and Issa are both like Yeah, no,
Words, not
you
numbers.
keep that. You keep that.
Words, not numbers.
Well, I don't do Sudoku.
Sudoku.
Sudoku. I never got into. Mostly because math.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with math. I don't mind math. I actually like some math puzzles, but that one for some reason melts my brain. And I think it's because you've got to track more than one thing at a time. Or maybe I'm not playing it right. I don't know. But it's not my go-to. Logic problems, though. The word-based where, you get a paragraph and you have to pick stuff out that you chart. You don't want to play me a clue. You don't want to play me a clue. I figured that formula out a long time ago. And I think it's because of the fact that I do the logic problems. I'm very good at deducing who's what when it comes to doing Clue. So we've got a Clue game that hasn't been opened in a very long time. Yeah. So projects that I've got going, like I said, I'm hoping that Issa and I are going to both pick up 2 wholesale stockists today, which would be great, locally. I have these guys that I had made these for Issa and Val for Valentine's Day. Sorry, my camera here. And Julius, y'all have met on camera before. And so this is my little cartoon version of Julius and its card. So I started making these, and he fits in just a regular A2 size envelope. So Julius is going to end up in the shop here soon. I've got to hand cut him out, so I will have limited stock until I have some built up. But I've already mailed out a couple of these to people, and I'm going to end up doing more character cards like this. He was really fast to do on the iPad. Like I said, cutting them out's the most work. Eventually, once we've got the Cricut set up, I'm going to have the Cricut cut it out, which will save me some time. I'm going to do that with the paper theater components too, because I've been working on paper theater stuff on Twitch. This one doesn't have any backdrop in yet, but I have a little ship that's going to go in there, and then I did one originally for the Owl and the Mermaid. This one has 2 of the backdrops in, so it gives it some depth, and you basically just drop theater pieces in. And I made the little owl just on, usually I'll use wire, but this was a mock-up, so it doesn't have the front piece on it like this one does. But at some point in time, I am going to actually teach this as a class to my K-12 students, or possibly my adults, via Zoom. So my patrons will be getting some special classes here soon, because Patreon is making it so that we can do privately viewed videos for our patrons, which is something they've been needing to do for a while, because I've posted some that were supposed to be private to less than 10 people and gotten 50 some odd views. And it's not supposed to be tracking the same IP, but I suspect it does, because I've seen things that I've viewed more than one time count me twice, I think. I don't know. I am not on the technical side of things like that as much as I should be, but I am learning. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much, I'm kind of at a standstill until the desktop is fixed. So it is whatever I can do on the iPad, which is quite a bit. So I've been very happy and very thankful for my iPad. It has been a blessing. Trying to think. We've got Julia and Sean went and saw Uncharted and said it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm jonesing to go see that. There is supposedly, I'll have to find out where, the Van Gogh exhibit. I heard rumor that it was either in Louisville or coming to Cincinnati. And I really want to see the immersive Van Gogh exhibit. So that is one thing. And I still want to see that William Dafoe movie. Him and the guy that played Poe in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Poe Dameron?
Yes.
Dameron? But the two of them are, I think he plays his brother Theo.
Okay.
But it was supposed to be really good. What's the other one? It's
film?
Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Dominion, I know, is coming out around Issa's birthday. There's another. What did I show you guys the trailer for the other day? There's a couple of things coming out.
The only thing I can remember is Dominion.
Yeah. There's a couple of things coming out.
I haven't seen any other movie trailers just in my scrolling around either. So
game-wise...
and the end of Dragon's expansion, and it comes out at the end of the month.
Yeah, for Guild Wars.
Guild Wars
I'm hoping I can get back on my computer before then, so... because I really want to play. But I was fighting one of the big bosses, and unfortunately I found out that even though I had beat him and was halfway through the cinematic when the computer died, it didn't count it. So I have to fight my way over to that area again and then fight him again. So I'm back to square one.
Which is bogus. I would send a support message to devs about that.
No, that's okay.
Because because I think if you didn't skip the cinematic and have it award you for finishing the sequence,
I didn't get a chance.
then it doesn't count that you've collected your reward.
Yeah.
So it drops you backwards.
Yeah.
Is how I think it works. So because you were in the
I
middle
was
of watching the cinematic, you hadn't collected the reward yet, and it was like, oh, you haven't done this. Is probably what happened.
Yeah.
I would send them a ticket and be like, this happened and my computer died in the middle of the cinematic. And see if they can help you. I don't know. They might be able to.
That's okay. I don't mind fighting my way through it again.
It's
I know how.
It was just a lot for you to do, and then suddenly
I know how to do it now. So
it
should hopefully be pretty quick, and I might end up pulling you and Kaz into it. We'll see. But game-wise, the other ones that I played yesterday, I actually did live stream on Twitch yesterday, if you want to check it out. Yesterday morning was Monument Valley, which is one of my favorite games for the iPad. There's actually 2 of them, rumored possibly 3. And it is a MC Escher mind bender, where it's totally, shift your perspective, and, you're walking on this area, and then you twist the area and you walk the other way, but you're on the other face instead of so there's all sorts of stuff like that. The other one that I played last night was a little more intense, and it's The Room. I have played the whole franchise. There's 3 games, and they came out with a VR game for the 4th one, so it's not available for the iPad or for anything else but VR. I can't do VR because I get headaches from stuff like that, so Oculus is not on my radar. And thankfully, Firmament, which is one that I backed, I don't know when it's coming out. They're still working on it. Cyan came out with a game that it's almost like being in Myst, but it's called Firmament, and they came out with a VR version that looks like the regular PC game, which is insane. The graphics on it are crazy, but they came out with a PC version, so I'll be able to play that. There's a lot of really cool games out for VR, but be careful because they do have things like, you virtual sickness and things like that. It's like straight out of Johnny Mnemonic. Um, but, everything in moderation. If you get headaches,
Stop.
Stop. Yeah, because it is affecting you.
Because that's the negative effect is headache.
And that's the start of it. I know people that have had permanent damage to their equilibrium and other things. So just be careful. But yeah, the room is. You'll get the one, like, you'll have a chest on a table and there'll be 50 puzzles before you even open the chest. And then the total number of puzzles for that one game, there's probably well over 100 puzzles in there. So if you like puzzles and you like really immersive, kind of on the spooky side, there's a lot of Lovecraft influence, H.P. Lovecraft, the Cthulhu mythos. There's a lot of that influence in there, so it's kind of spooky, and it's great if you want to play something at night with the lights out on the iPad, and it's atmospheric. I know we had whispering voices. It sounded like Slytherin out of Harry Potter, so it was creeping out Suo and a couple other people that were watching last night with Twitch, and which was great. But it's a really great series. It's Fireproof Games is the developer, and it's amazing. I would love to be a texture artist, environment artist for them, because that would just be way too much fun, helping to devise puzzles and then, getting the rustic look down, because the artwork is gorgeous. But that's what we've got for today. We are here. We are vertical. We are out of bed. It's cold out. We're supposed to get snow at some point again, I think.
We were supposed to.
Yeah, we were supposed to get flurries yesterday.
I thought it was supposed to be last night.
Winter weather advisory. So
we got a little bit of rain last night. That's it.
And I got my pandas on today. So Panda, you got pandas. But I will be back on Twitch Saturday. More art, possibly paper theater. We're going to play around and see what we're going to do. I think we're going to start designing characters and different things for the paper theater. So digital work, most likely. And if you're just here for YouTube, Thursday mornings, 9 a.m. every week, we are here, Eastern Standard Time, for a half an hour-ish, and talking about all things nerdy. If there's something you want us to review, talk about, anything, feel free to drop a note below, and we will see you next week. Stay well, stay safe, enjoy your weekend, and take care. We'll see you soon. Saturday, noon, Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. I'm Renmeleon everywhere. All the links will be below, and I'll post all the stuff about the books. Thank you. Bye.